Okay, everybody, welcome into the Parker and the Man page, yournews.com. Mark Wilson with your webcam for this 16th day of April. Hope you got your taxes in last night by midnight. If you didn't, bye. See ya. Right to jail. That's it. I love when Letterman does that, man. Right to the Hooskow, to the Slammer, to the Gray Bar Hotel. So we're done. Taxes are finished. Woo! Boy, was that tough. So I hope you got them all done and finished in time. Weekend is upon us. Here we are, kind of middle of April, kind of, getting into the swing of the baseball thing. And you got the draft a couple of weeks, what is this, next week actually. What am I saying? Next week is the NFL draft. Kentucky Derby's coming up. I got some stuff in there. The piece, though, is on college baseball, because we're well into the college baseball season. You might not know it, but Michigan State, Central, Western, Eastern all playing baseball. And Michigan State actually up to their best Big Ten start in quite some time. They're actually tied for the top spot with Ohio State and Michigan at 4-2, and a huge weekend for Jake Boss Jr. and the Spartans. They are playing Ohio State, so there's a battle of two first-place teams right there in the Big Ten. But this is about kind of how baseball has become a dinosaur. That's the headline, in fact, in the piece. In the college ranks, you just collegiately, I'm talking about up north, not down south or out west. Obviously, the Californias, the Arizonas, the Floridas, Georgia schools, they do fine. But up north, some of the numbers are getting kind of crazy when you think about the fact that there hasn't been much competition. Oregon State won a couple of College World Series, but that's more western. I don't count that north. I'm talking north, anything from Montana all the way across our northern border there, Minnesota and Wisconsin. And Wisconsin University doesn't even play baseball. They don't even have a baseball team in the Big Ten. The only one in the Big Ten without one. This is a little retrospective, going back, a little look back at Michigan State, who used to have a nice history in baseball. Danny Litweiler, the old coach, my old guy at Michigan State, 93, still going strong down in Florida. When he came from Florida State for the robust sum of $13,500 because the Seminoles were offering $11,000 back in the 60s. Kind of turned Michigan State into a decent-sized program, going to a few NCAA regionals. No College World Series. Michigan State has never gone. But always Michigan kind of, was up here, and Michigan State was down here when Danny was the coach. And Michigan had Moby Benedict and Bud Middaugh, and then Bill Freehan and Jeff Zahn tried to coach him. But Michigan has won a couple of national titles, one under Ray Fisher, who, of course, the stadium is named after, and Don Lund, who played with the Tigers and also coached and ran the farm system for the Tigers for a while back in the 70s, was a coach at Michigan. He's still with us and in his 80s, and hope he's doing good. I've talked to Don in the past about college baseball and whatnot, Michigan baseball. Used to cover it a lot in Lansing. We did a lot of Michigan State baseball stuff. But Michigan State has not won a Big Ten since 1979. I mean, I was there, people, and 31 years ago. And Michigan now has gone 25 years without the College World Series. Their plateau was up here while States was just winning a Big Ten. Michigan was getting to those College World Series in Omaha, Nebraska. And Michigan has not gone since 1984. Rich Maloney did get the team into the regionals back in 2008, and he hopes to do it again this year. But the northern game is just kind of falling off the boards. And if it went away, no one, I don't think, would notice. And until better recruits start to take advantage of the northern schools, northern baseball will never come back. And it's kind of a shame because it really was something back in the 70s and 80s. Some great players. I can't sit here and list all the names. There's some names in the piece you'll recognize, obviously. Some that played with the Tigers, Kirk Gibson, Rick Leach. Other than that, I mean, you look at the last 2 decades, kind of nothing. Minnesota won a couple of titles back in the day. The last northern school, true northern school, get this now, I'll give this away, it's in the piece, to win the College World Series, true northern now, not one of the Oregon schools or Western or Southern, Ohio State, 1966. That's a long time ago, people. And they're still doing it. So, obviously, it has really kind of fallen off the map. So check out the piece about college baseball and just how it's gone down the tubes. Also, Tiger stuff in there to start their 11-game road swing tonight in Seattle. Jeremy Bonderman against Felix Hernandez. We're going to know a lot about this Tiger team when this 11 games is done, when this little stretch here of contests on the road is finished. Wings in Phoenix tonight at Glendale at the Jobbing.com Arena after that first game loss. Boy, how important is the split now? Coming back to Joe Louis Arena. You don't want to be down 0-2 to Phoenix. Coyotes are pretty strong. With Brizgalov right now playing the way he is in goal, you want to be careful about that getting out of hand. And it's already been kind of a crazy playoff after a couple of days. San Jose and Washington, the 2 top seeds, West and East, both lost their first games. NBA playoffs start tomorrow. No Pistons. For me, I'm sorry to say it, I hate to do this, no interest. I mean, I'll be interested in the finals, I guess, or maybe the conference finals, but for these early round series, Chicago, Cleveland, unless the Bulls can beat LeBron, which I don't see happening, I don't know where the interest is going to come for teams that aren't there, but we're not used to this. It was just 10 years, the Pistons, basically the decade, that the Pistons were involved in this thing, not outside looking in, and now they're way looking in, the kind of year that they had. And if you noticed, Joe Dumars did announce that John Kuster would come back as head coach next year. Jerry Rice's debut as a professional golfer on the Nationwide Tour, it's like the minor leagues for the PGA, one round done. He shoots at 83, he's 20 shots back of Dickie Pride in Hayward, California. Jerry Rice, great player in the NFL, wasn't he? Maybe the all-time best football player. Woo! 20 shots back, one round. Way to go, Jerry. Golf will humble you, You ain't in the NFL anymore, that's for sure. Speaking of NFL, Casey Fitzsimmons calls it quits. Lions tight end for 7 years. Only 2 guys ever played tight end longer for the Lions. Jim Gibbons, Charlie Sanders, and of course Sanders is in the Hall of Fame. Fitzsimmons ain't going to the Hall of Fame, but Case was a good guy in the room. He'll be missed with the Lions. I don't know about missed on the field. Nobody's really missed on the field with the Lions, but Casey gave it his best. He gave it his all. Got to give him that. Martin Mayhew had a draft press conference. Said nada. And Kentucky Derby, 2 weeks away. You heard anything about it? Favorites? I got some names there for you. Kentucky Derby, if you're a Derby fan, May 1st, 136 run for the Roses, Churchill Downs. You've not heard a blip about the Derby. But I got some names who are the favorites, early line on them for 2010. There you go. Check it all out. The piece on college baseball, Tigers, Wings, NBA playoffs, Jerry Rice. 20 shots back. The Fitzsimmons retirement, Martin Mayhew saying Buckus, and the Kentucky Derby. It's all there for you. The Parker Demand page. Have a great weekend, everybody.